hear me well?
Yeah, we are hear you.
Yeah. So, like we will continue from wherever we stopped. I think Venkatesh has given us a very good overview of how generative AI works and how generative AI is being very useful to certain use cases in in this time. So right now what I will do is I will add on a few topics to whatever Venkatesh has explained us, whatever he has taught us, and also teach you a very small component on Vertex AI of how to create like agents in minutes and get like very simple answers from the agent. And then in future we can look into how to build those agents completely from and make them more conversational. So but for now I'll showcase how easy it is to build agents without 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 having a knowledge of coding at all. And I'll just try to show you how the services has been backed up for each other, and how can we just directly go and upload documents and all that, right? So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we are able to see our screen.
Okay. So let me. So, like Venkatesh mentioned, what is generative AI, right? So, in very simple terms, it's just basically a model which creates new content based on the existing data. Like till now, whatever we have seen in AI models, we mostly focus on analysis and processing the data and trying to get insights from the data and do basic predictions when it using some variables or like target variables and all of that, right? So till now like before the generative AI was in picture, this is how the AI was in field. Like we would use searching techniques or recommendation systems in the based on variables, right? But now what generative AI does is it basically understands the underlying structure of the data. Like what it does is it will basically um, start understanding contextually, right? It'll try to understand the whole sentence and answer it, and it generates new contents from the data that it has been trained on. Like for example, telling in very simple terms, like for example, if you're a person who has known, who has studied a lot of books on science, right? Like you have a lot of knowledge on certain topics in science. So you have read books, you have watched videos, you have solved multiple use cases and all of that, and you have like enormous amount of content in your head. But if somebody asks you about a certain topic, it's not like you what did you do at this point, is you have contextually understood the whole topic. Now what will you do is whenever somebody asks you about that any particular topic, like say photosynthesis, like we uh, spoke about yesterday, like if you talk about that and if you have a knowledge about it, you will you will first remember all the information that you know about photosynthesis, and you will provide information in a way that you understand it, right? So you're generating a new content from your existing knowledge. So similar way generative AI also does the same thing. So it also analyzes the data. It basically understands the underlying structure of the data, and then it generates new content based on that, right? So now, how does generative AI work? Is in very, I wouldn't go completely deep into it because a lot of topics Venkatesh has mentioned it to us. But like on top, the major role is performed by data training, right? It is like we'll have a lot of complex algorithms that have been previously used. So they use all of these algorithms, and they train the data, like algorithms, and train the data accordingly. So data training is the major, a major uh, contributor for how generative AI works effectively. So they use neural networks, they use large language models, diffusion models. So neural networks are basically like, these networks have uh, similar, like what how we have neurons. These network also has these neural net like layers which are called as neurons, which will be connected to one, which will be connected to each other before it, like generates an output, right? Like they basically have understanding of, the previous nodes, and then it will create like a, a summary of whatever it has achieved, whatever it has tried to get from its previous, previous nodes or previous information, and it tries to build up upon it and then give us a proper, output, right? So like in large language models we have seen before, like BERT and, these transformer models. So large language models are built upon these models, where these have this contextual understanding, and they what do they do is they analyze the sentiment, they analyze the context, and then provide us answers according to that. Like the outputs will be completely uh, vector based, the way that they also understand is due to, like, through vectors, and they also try to have a contextual understanding for it. So diffusion models, these models are used to generate images, and I wouldn't want to go very deep into it, but these are the main contributors of how generative AI works. So key techniques in generative AI. So how generative AI works nowadays is it uses all the learning techniques that have been there from a very long time, right? So now we have like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. We know what supervised learning is, right? So when you want to train the, when the model is trained with, tabular data, where it is where it has proper rows and columns, it will give us certain predictions. So generative AI does train with those kind of models also. When it comes to unsupervised learning, we say it has like, PDFs or text files or audio files, video files. All of these come under in training through these kind of files come under unsupervised learning, which is also done, which is also used while building generative AI models. Reinforcement learning is basically when it's basically like when the model provides a correct answer, you provide a reward to it, so that it will tend towards giving, improving its model according to the answers that it is generating. If it's a wrong answer, you do not reward it. If it's a correct answer, it rewards it. So we reward it, so it becomes better according to that, right? So that is reinforcement learning. So the main concept of, main technique and concept of generative AI is um, GANs. So that is basically generative adversarial networks. So here we have two components which are called generators and discriminators. Okay, we'll put it in a very simple format, right? So basically we will train these models using data, right? So the data will have real stuff, like the real conversations or the real text, the real data that is available for us, which are not generated by any models or something. These are something which are already existing, which are real data, right? So what generator and discriminator does is, so generator generates content which is completely fake. Okay, so what generator tries to do is it tries to mimic the real data. It tries to make sure that the data that it is providing is as similar to the real data. So when discriminator is there, what does discriminator do is it will basically take the real data, it will understand the real data, and it will take the data generated by the generator, which is all like fake. So it will try to discriminate and tell if the content generated by the generator is real or fake. So whenever the discriminate, so what is generator and discriminator doing is, generator keep trying to generate or like build contents which from its own by just understanding the data, which will be fake, which is not existing in the outside world. So discriminator will compare that with the real data, and it will mention if it's fake or not. So this whole loop keeps going, like basically imagine like how generator and discriminator are fighting. Generator keeps upgrading its data and make sure that um, it can send the data where discriminator will not be able to differentiate between real and fake data. So once the discriminator provides the generator's data as real, that that basically means that the generator has created uh, generator has created a like data which is similar to the real data, which is also understanding the real data and providing the correct data that we need. So this is how GANs work, and this is like the major role, like the major contributor of generative AI, right? So this is one concept, and we have seen that like uh, Venkatesh has also spoke about RAG architecture and how does RAG architecture work, right? So basically you provide a document to to the data so that it will not, to the generative AI, like the model will not hallucinate, and it will only take the data from using the RAG architecture. It will only use the data that is provided by us, and it will provide answers, or creates conversations or builds conversations only in that particular data, which is called RAG, right? So now what I will show you is how all of these is connected in Vertex AI, right? So how is this how easy it is for us to create agents in Vertex AI, and also the uh, understand these topics. So let me show you something here, right? So there is Vertex AI has Google has released something like an agent builder, which is basically where you can go ahead and create conversational agents or chatbots within minutes without having an extreme knowledge on developing or anything like that. You can directly go ahead and create a model here. So I will show you a step by step process of how easy it is and how you can do it. Since I already have a bot, this is the bot that I will show you uh, how it works, how it is giving us answers, right? So I have used this document regarding photosynthesis research under a climate change, right? So I have used this document, and I wanted the agent to answer me whatever is there in this document. I want the agent to answer, answer its users, right? So what did I do? Now I go to this agent builder app, so I can just directly go to the Google console, and I just type agent builder, and you get this agent builder app, right? So here you can see this button called create app. So you can just go there and you create an app here. So before we create this app, we need data that we need to incorporate in this, so that it will use that data and give us the answers, right? So there is something. So you can see this tab called data stores, right? So you go to this tab called data store and you create a data store here. So it will give us multiple options of how do you want to create this data store, right? Do you want to use Google Sites or Google Email or Drive, or there are so many options that it provides. So the usual, the very usual main options that people use is like website content or BigQuery. It depends on whatever your use case is. So for now, I will select Google Cloud Storage because I have the document there. Okay. So it is a PDF file, right? So it comes under unstructured document. So you can see that there is unstructured document, structured data, enhanced data. So like depends upon what our data is, we can we can provide, we can provide an option here, right? So this is basically how many do you want to ingest it periodically, or do you want it to ingest it only one time? I have to mention that Google has been updating its agent builder and conversational agents sections a lot. Like this is whatever you're seeing previous are recently added, and they have been doing a lot of changes, like I mentioned in last class also, that whatever I have seen 2 3 months ago, it is there are a lot of changes in the console itself, which gives us up to date information, and like which is making creating chatbots more easier than before, right? So now, so I'll just select a file, and I'll just browse it in Google Cloud Storage, and I'll select the file and I'll continue. So here you can give data store name, right? You can give anything here. So basically I'll just put, um, let's say science, right? Something, anything that you want. So when you go here, you can see that they have document parsing. So what does parsing mean? It basically means the document, the huge document that we provide will be cut, will be basically segregated or cut into small documents, so that the the model, it is easier for model to study from those small documents that we have created, and and give us the outputs, right? So basically, like for example, as humans we cannot read 15 20 pages of work at the same time. But if you give me one section of document, and then make me understand, like for example there are 20 pages, and I use first one page to read, and then I use the second page to read, it is more understandable, and I will be able to keep that in mind better, rather than giving the whole 15 16 page document at the same time, right? So it's the same thing here also. So it uses digital parser, OCR parser, and layout parser. So it depends upon what parsing techniques that we use. So basically, so we can, all these parsing techniques, basically it's like using appropriate for whatever documents or whatever kind of however we're uploading the content, according to that it will give us the parsing techniques. So, and here we have something called document chunking. This is also the same concept. It basically chunks the documents into how many ever chunks we want, and we can we can create like number of chunks. Usually the usual one that people use is like 500, but you can use as the chunk size as 500, but you can use whatever you want, and then we can go ahead with it. So these topics are important not just in Vertex AI, but also in Amazon Bedrock, or even when it comes to OpenAI models. So wherever you go, you will want to understand these, because when you're giving interviews in these kind of topics, they will make sure that they will ask you if you know about what is parsing, what is chunking, and all of that. We will cover, and we will make sure that we provide up more information on this in future classes. But this, we will stick to trying to understand how to create a create an agent easily in minutes, right? So now I have used this, and I will create my data store, right? So it will take some time for this data store to work. But how does it look? It looks similar to this. So basically it does not happen in like 1 or 2 minutes. It will take some time for it to understand. So what it does is, over here when you go to activity, it will show here when the import is completed. Okay, so it will show if there are any errors and all of that, so that when the import is completed, you can use this data set for your use cases, right? So in the same way, however we are doing this test data set, this also does it in the same way. Now we have the data store ready, right? So now we go to this this uh, apps page where you can create the app like this, right? So you go to this create app. Now we, like I showed you yesterday, it has search and assistant. So all of these are like search apps, and like basically for website, if you want to search your website, or if you want to do a document search, or like a media search. So what basically this is like when you create something, it will create like a app for us, where you can just go ahead and type whatever you want to type, and it will just match those words and give us the answers, right? So like, and then there are conversational agents where you can just create like a basic chat app, or you can create like an entire conversational agent. So they have recommendation engines, media recommendations. So we can tap into all of this. We can have use cases according to your use cases. I would suggest you to try to understand these, like get a use case in your mind, and try to use these aspects. But for now, I'll show you the conversational agent part, right? So you can see that whenever I click on conversational agents, it is going to a tab called conversational agents. Before it was called Dialogflow CX, if you guys know about it. Now they have converted into conversational agents. We still do have Dialogflow CX, but they are recently changed it into conversational agents, right? So you have three here. So you have a pre-built agent. You can build one agent on your own, or you can create a question and answer agent. So what are these, right? So usually Vertex AI or like Google has provided us pre-built agents, like common tasks, whatever they are, we can do it in these agents, right? So you can see, like for DMV, for retail, for travel, small talk, all of these are pre-built agents. We can use these, import these agents and work upon that. So we can even do that. We can go, like there are documentations of how these agents created, what purpose do they serve, all of that. When you click on that agent, it will provide all of that for us. But right now we will not use them. So we will basically and build on your own, is you can build everything from scratch. So you can basically have your own agent, like just by using intents and all of that, which we will cover in next sessions. We will right now create a Q&A agent. This is the easiest one, right? We just provide the URL and they will create the bot that answers the questions based on the content, right? So we will tap on this. So now it will ask us few configurations, like say company name. Just give any kind of company name, and then you can give us like an agent name, and then you just click continue. Okay. Right. So now we have to add a data store to it, because it works based, the agent is created based on our data, right? So we just add the data set. So like I said, once the data is added, it will show us completed, right? So like now I have already have one, so I'll just add this data. Now for this data to completely work, it will take some time, right? So what when once you add this data set, you can just hit on preview, and it will go to the console, and you can just directly test the agent here. So let me see if this works. I do think it will take some time, but if it does not work, I'll show you the one that I have already created, right? So you can just go ahead and test the agent here. So I'll just put um what is photosynthesis, right? It should work, but let's see. Okay, so I think it's taking some, like it's not trained here yet, but I'll show you the one that we have that is already been created. basically you need to set some, like, leave some time to it so that it will understand, it will create an agent. So before that, if you try to work on it, it just does not give us the answers, right? So let's go to this, which is already created, which was created a little couple of minutes ago, so that it's easier for us to understand here. So you can see here, right? See, what do you know about photosynthesis? And it is providing us answer about it. Let's just reset the conversation. So it's giving us answers of what is photosynthesis and all of that. I will show you the publish agent also, like how to publish this agent. But let me just go and ask a question from this, right? Like, let's see if it answers, right? So let's say I'll ask about um, optimizing light use efficiency, right? Let's see if it tells anything about it. See, it is giving us. So is this information is provided here, right? So it's giving us. So let me just give something that is not related, right? Um, See, it does not work because that particular document does not have anything about cars. So it won't work. So this is how RAG architecture basically works, right? So, like, I can show you how to publish this agent. So now when you can see that there are like three overflow menu, like three dots here, right? So you just click on it, and then you'll find something called publish agent, right? So when you hit on this public agent, you can see that there is a, like, we have like a code. You can literally copy this code into any of the HTML file, run it in your local server, and it will start working. So I will try to show it to you if it's possible, but you can try it here also. Like, it basically works in the same way that it works here. So you can just create like a new session, and then you can just put hi or something, and then you can ask here. Like, let's say, let's take another topic. Let's say category of photosynthesis processes, right? See, it has provided the answers. So are they available in this? Yes, they are available, right? The CO2 diffusion conversation. So it's the same thing that it's providing here, right? So so basically, and it will also show us the document that it has taken it from, right? Now, if I ask about, it won't be able to give us. So this is how you can work on it, right? So now you can see that you can have how secure it is that you can create an authenticated or unauthenticated APIs here, right? So if unauthenticated API will be available for everybody, so anyone you having this code can use the application in their website. If it's unauthorized API, it'll like authorized API, it'll have it has a complete documentation of how to use it also, like how, like, it basically you will have to authorize using your email or something, then only it will be able to provide. And you can even have domain access here. You can add a domain, and only in that domain it will start working. So you can make it as secure as possible. So now I'll enable unauthenticated API. Let's see if I'll be able to work on it, right? My VS Code should work. Let's try. kind of. Let me try to save this. Okay, so I think there should be an extension. And just give me a minute. Once it installs, we can try to work on that. Oh, sorry. Okay, I think it's installed, right? So, yeah. So I'll just try to go live on this. Okay. Okay, I think it should work. Let's. Yeah. So see, you can see the app here. So basically, if I just click the same way, it will give us the same answers. You see how easy it was? We can just create a website right like this, right? So we can adding this chatbot in the end, we can just create any website that you want, and you can just add this particular thing here. You have a lot of HTML and CSS customizations that you can do to this app, that you can do it without having a lot of knowledge on code, right? So you can go ahead and like try to look into all the look into more stuff. So like here we can go ahead and like add more tools to it also. Like you can add a summarizer. You can tell, okay, this tool will use a summarizing document, and you can add like a a data store to it, and you can use, and there are something called as playbooks where you can go ahead and use these tools over there, and you can even add these pre-built components to it, and you can create environments to it, and you can create versions of this current application, current agent, and you can even integrate them with a lot of things, you know let's see a known stuff, like we know conversational manager, we know Google Chat, Slack, so we can add it to any of these. Sorry. So we can use any of these integrations also. So it is that simple for us to just build a basic chatbot, right? Imagine if you're somebody who just wants like to provide, like you say if you're a mm, person who's trying to work on, all of these, like you're creating your own website, or like you're creating your own portfolio, and you just want to like add a, add like a nice touch to it, and you just want to create like a small chatbot in that website, and you want to be like, oh, this website will teach, like, when people open that chatbot, you can basically like, give them like, okay, ask anything about me, you will be able to find it here. So if somebody asks about your projects, you can show all those projects and all of that. So it's very nice for us to just understand in this way, right? Even when it comes to like business cases where you have your own small website, and you want to create like a user customer service kind of a chatbot, and you can just give your data, and you can make sure that the chatbot is like, the chatbot answers from that data. And did you do a lot of like, work on it? Did you have like any problem understanding the code? No, you just look into the data. You just have to make sure that you connect the data well, and you do a few clicks. You basically master in your prompt engineering techniques, and you will be able to just host the data, right? Like host the agent, right? So it is that simple. So you can see here, it's still working. So it's basically using the API call by itself. You did not do anything. It just does it by itself, and it's calling the agent from the console, and it is providing us the answers. So it is that simple for us to use agent builder and all of that. So you can create, like I showed you, you can create not just conversational agents, you can create recommendation engines in the same way, media recommendations, retail recommendations. You can create just like a basic search websites. So you can do a lot of things here. um, so this is this is like, you can use this as the starting point to understand how these chatbots are working. And you can, like, like I said here, if you just use, like, if you are good with HTML and like CSS and all of that, you can just use your own stuff here. Like, you can put this everything into, like, one, like head tags and body tags and HTML tags in a correct way. You can just add these stuff to it, and you can build your own website and make sure the chatbot is there. And you can see that I will show you a fulfillment where which used by Dialogflow CX Messenger, which right now we use. So it has a lot of HTML and CSS customizations that you can do to change the feel and look of the chatbot. So you will have CSS customizations. So you can do all of these things using Dialog additional integration that it uses. And if you need not have to worry about a lot of understanding on how does these things work, or how does those things work and all of that. You can just go ahead, like, type these things, and you can make sure, like, like, you can just read these documentations, like, they just give us like this. You can go ahead and type these things and try to uh, like, create a good bot. We can even do a lot of, like, we can do a use case on this also. We can do a small POC on doing a well built chatbot for your profile, or like any company, or any use case that we have, right? So yeah, so these are the things that you can leverage. Go ahead, like, I would really suggest you to go ahead, add an account, add a Google account. It will even give you free credits in the starting. So add a Google account, use all of these. Try to understand your Try to create like a use case, and try to understand which is better, and try to do more research on this. And whatever components you get, do reach out to us. We will try to explain them as much as possible. But you do some research about all these components, and if you have these practical knowledge on all of these things, you can clear your interviews better, because it is easier for you to understand and just navigate them with whatever that you have done, right, instead of just being theoretical about it. So if you're somebody who is not a developer, who will not understand, more of this, who will not able to do a complete chatbot by yourself, you can use uh, like you know uh, platforms like this and create the chat app without in minutes, right? So we just took like 30 minutes to finish the agent. That too I was showing you one by one, but if you just get like used to it, you can just finish one chatbot in 15 minutes. So how easy is that, right? So yeah, so this is what I wanted to show you in Vertex AI and how easy it is for us to understand AI technologies in this way, and also just like get used to AI so that we can build more and more on these kind of stuff. So yeah, so this is what I wanted to showcase today.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Meghana.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to KKR Gen AI Innovations channel.